But you were confused, but you asked me the same question. You asked me, should it be 100 to 150 words, and I have it right there, 100 to 150 words. There you go again. You're wasting my time right now. All right. You are going to be looking at photosynthesis versus cellular respiration. You've already talked about this, Bubakar. You've already basically talked about this in 8th grade when you talked about cells, but we're going to go a little bit more in detail because we have to go further with it. So looking, in a moment, you're going to be logging onto my website if you haven't already done so, because Now told you to do so. Don't try to do it now because I don't need a bunch of sounds. But when you do get on there, underneath the agenda portion, it tells you to click here. This is going to take you to a website. This website is going to allow you to finish this front portion. This is just going to be a basic review of photosynthesis and cellular respiration. It's also going to talk about a process called fermentation. So it's going to take it into some more detail. I'm going to explain a couple of things here. Then when you are finished with this, you are then going to turn the paper over to the back. You're going to be in this location here. You're going to follow these instructions so that you supply a picture representing those two processes, photosynthesis and cellular respiration. The reason why you are doing the front first is because you get an idea, you get a refresher. It shows you some pictures so you kind of understand exactly where you're going when you complete this. I had some of you write on the side labeled because I do not have colored pencils, because it is going to tell you to color some things. The colors you need are green, blue, and yellow. If you don't have colored pencils, then you're going to label those things what they are as opposed to coloring them. Is that understood? All right, so going back to the front for right now. When I release you to do so, again, you're going to click here and you're going to follow the instructions on this page so that you can complete this. One of the areas are a little bit confusing when you do it, so I want you to look here now and let's kind of run through it together. For option 4, everyone look on the front and look at number 4. Number 4 says, complete the chart shown below for the process that makes up cellular respiration. When you think of the word respiration, what do you think of? Breathing. And when you think of breathing, what type of air do you breathe? Oxygen. So do you think that this process is going to involve oxygen? Yes, of course it is. Now, the process that cellular respiration uses in this area here, you're going to all right, there should be 3 here, but there's not. But there's 3 on yours. That's good. All right, so the first box, the name of the process in the very first box, that process is called glycosis. Go ahead and write that down. Glycosis. Glycosis. What word do you hear in glycosis? So what substance have we talked about that kind of sounds like that? Glucose. Glucose. Do you think this is going to involve glucose? Yes. All right, keep that in your mind. Now, it asks for where in the cell does this process occur? It occurs in the liquidy portion of the cell. Where is that? The cytoplasm. Go ahead and write that down. Now, here's where some of you are going to be questioning and asking. It says reactants in and products out. When you're thinking of this, you have to think of chemistry. Chemistry has a lot to do with biology. They work together. Reactants means the things that it's taking in, meaning the things that it uses or the things that it makes. The things that it uses or the things that it makes? It uses. So it's asking what is being used for this process and what is being produced during this process. All right? What was one of the things that you thought of when you heard of that word? When you heard of glycosis? Glucose. So it is using glucose. Write that down for the reactant. The things that are going to be produced is hydrogen. There's a type of acid that you're going to be looking at when you look at the video, but it's called pyruvic acid. That's Pyruvic acid. Greg, why aren't you writing? And hydrogen, pyruvic, Pyruvic acid, Pyruvic The other thing that it's going to also produce is something called ATP. Who remembers what ATP is? I mentioned it earlier in the year. If you do not remember, flip your papers over to the other side and raise your hand when you find it. Raise your hand when you find it. Janae. Energy. So it produces ATP. In parentheses, you want to put energy. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That is energy. So glycolysis is a process that is going to use glucose. It's going to then produce hydrogen, an acid called pyruvic acid, and it's going to produce energy. Energy can be in the form of what? How does energy produce? How does energy show itself? How do you know energy is present? Nope. How do you know energy is present? Right now, there's a lot of energy present. Light. How else is energy present? When you move, you're going to produce a lot of energy, and you know that because you're going to start to get so heat. What else? Sound. All right, the second process that you're going to come across when you're looking is called aerobic respiration. That's A-E-R-O-B-I-C. A-E-R-O-B-I-C. Respiration. What word do you hear in aerobic? Air. What is it? Air. Oxygen. So what do you think is going to be very important in this process? Oxygen. Aerobic respiration, underneath there, in parentheses, you want to put similar to the way I breathe. Similar to the way I breathe. That's going to help you understand what aerobic respiration is. And when we go a little bit further, you'll see exactly what I mean. This is going to occur in the mitochondria. Mitochondria. The K sound is a CH. Mitochondria. I'm not spelling that for you. Reactants, things that it's going to use. Everybody right now go. This is similar to the way that you breathe. What did you just use? What did you all just use? What is in the air that you need? Oxygen. So think that you use is oxygen. Because this is a cellular process, the cells use oxygen, but it also uses pyruvic acid. So you want to put there pyruvic acid also. This is what it uses. Now, it is similar to the way that you breathe. Right now, you just took a deep breath in. Take your hand like this. In a moment, you're going to put it over your face, not yet. And you're going to take a deep breath out. And then you're going to do this. Right now, go ahead and put your hand over your face. Take a deep breath out. Some of you just passed out. Do this. Is it moist? Moisture is the example of what being present. Moisture. Water. So what was produced? Water was produced. Was it warm? The presence of heat means that there was what? I just told you. Energy. So this is similar to you breathing, so therefore what's produced? You just told me one. Water, ATP, which is energy, very good. And what do we breathe out? Carbon dioxide. That is also there. What uses the carbon dioxide? We don't. We'll die. What uses the carbon dioxide so that they can live? Plants. Through the process of what? Photosynthesis. All right, and then lastly, in your box, you have a third box here. I need to fix this one. But the third box should say fermentation. That's Fermentation. Fermentation. Also known as anaerobic respiration. That's Anaerobic. Michael, you need to know that word. Anaerobic respiration. And I'm not spelling the game. Better look on your partner. The word "an" means the absence of. What do you think is going to be absent here? Oxygen. So therefore, in the reactants, we're not going to see any oxygen. This takes place in the cytoplasm. It is still a respiration, but oxygen is not going to be present. What is going to be present? It is a respiration. Oxygen is not present, so what's going to be present? Look on your paper. It is. What's the other respiration? What's present in the other respiration? Pyruvic acid. So that's the reactant in pyruvic acid. And the things that are produced, it's not going to produce water because there is no oxygen present. It's not even going to produce energy because there's no oxygen present. Let me explain to you what this process is. How many of you are athletes? And how many of you athletes who have coaches, what does your coach tell you to do when you're exercising? Breathe. And how do they tell you to breathe? Put your hands on your head. Through your nose and out through your mouth, so that you can get a proper amount of oxygen in your lungs. But sometimes when you are exercising or you are doing a sport, you're working and you're moving so fast that you're not really focusing on your breathing. You're like, and you're breathing just through your mouth and not through your nose, so you're not getting enough oxygen into your body. Are you still able to move and work? Yes, you are. Your body is using the backup oxygen that's there. However, when you're still able to do this work and you're not providing your body with enough oxygen, your body goes into something called fermentation so that it can do what it needs to do. In that process, it does not produce water and energy. Instead, it produces something called lactate, Lactate. Lactate. How many of you, when you are working out or you are exercising, you do get a leg cramp or an arm cramp or a side cramp? That is because there's a lack of oxygen and you're in fermentation, and that lactate is what causes the cramp. You want to put that there. The lactate causes cramping. So this is why it's important for you to breathe properly so you can go through aerobic respiration and not anaerobic respiration. And even though you are not getting a proper amount of oxygen, are you still breathing out? So you are also producing what? Carbon dioxide. Go ahead and put that there. Now you're going to go ahead and go to my website. You're going to click there so that you can finish the rest of the worksheet starting from the beginning to the end. Then you're going to flip it over to the back and follow the instructions to do that. You do not need internet for the back. If you have questions, please make sure that you see me.